The following program is a podcast1.com production.
You are listening to a special best of edition of the Laura Ingraham Show. Why settle for less when you can get the best?
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Power to the people!
The Laura Ingraham Show.
4, 3, 2, 1. I'm at the barrel of a gun.
College students around Texas could soon be able to take their guns on campus. The state Senate gave final approval to a proposal that would allow it.
I think it's honestly a good idea for some students who have the qualifications. Just the feeling of having someone who knows what they're doing with a gun sitting next to me in case something was to happen. I feel more safe rather than just being completely in a classroom with no protection at all.
Well, I'll say it. God bless Texas. Well, you're a student. You're allowed to carry a weapon on your person, and you're a student. Like, these people are all pro-choice liberals until it comes to the Second Amendment. Or, as we've seen with this Obama proposal or dream, I'd say it's an Obama fantasy to have voting be mandatory in the United States. They don't want you to have a choice. You must vote. Talk about totalitarian. You had to vote in the old Soviet Union, too. You had to vote. You only had one choice, but you had to vote. No freedom, no real freedom, no liberty, no ability to defend yourself. Oh, the government will defend you. You're in a gun-free zone in this particular school, and then we have a Sandy Hook. They weren't able to stop Adam Lanza. He wreaks unspeakable carnage. One person with a firearm, trained to use it, could have taken him out real fast. Fortunately, we didn't have that at Sandy Hook Elementary. Didn't have that at Columbine. Didn't have that quickly enough when that freak tried to enter the U.S. Military base in southeast Washington. Remember that? He managed to make his way up the staircase. Remember that? He's like making his way into the building with a weapon, and finally he was taken down. But my goodness, it's just things take a little longer than they should, don't you think? But this is an interesting issue in Texas. Do you agree with this? It's called a campus carry bill. And it's gotten its final okay. And this happened early yesterday, passed by a vote of 20-11. And the vote was strictly along party lines. The bill allows concealed handgun license holders to carry guns into college classrooms and dorms. It only applies to public universities like UT, University of Texas. Oh, the people in Austin love this, right? The liberals, they hate this. And the University of Houston. Private universities like Rice, they could still ban guns on their campus. So the left wants to demonize these people until they need them. Until someone's busted through the classroom and you think you're going to be protected by hiding under your desk. You'll be protected by one of those students who has a firearm, I can tell you that. At least you have a better chance. You don't have any chance otherwise. No chance at all.
So it's not the teachers with the firearms; it's the actual students.
No, this is the universities. Yeah, these are over the age of 18.
Well, they're old. Yeah, they're old enough.
Yeah,
so it's not
they're
like
over the age
kids.
of 18. I mean, and I say a teacher who has the ability and the proper background in firearms. And maybe the teacher's not the right person, but I mean, someone in the school should have access to a firearm in order to stop this nonsense. I mean, I've always liked the fact that now some pilots are carrying weapons in the cockpit. Good. Hey, you don't fit the... If you bring that bag on like Raymond tries to bring on this bag. He tries to carry a bag on when I travel with him. This bag is like a bag you would bring for 2 weeks of travel.
Oh, come on.
It's a roller bag that does not fit in most overhead compartments. But especially when you're in L.A., they're Nazis in L.A. At the TSA, they will not let Raymond go by with that bag. Darned it if he doesn't try it every time anyway. He tries to get that bag through. I've given him bags as gifts, including this year. The bag I gave you was a nice one, that Toomey bag. You'll get that through. But Raymond likes the bag that will carry 3 pairs of shoes, the sneakers, the dress shoes.
No. It's a
huge
very
roller bag.
common little
wardrobe bag. I'm going to get Rebecca to take a picture of it. This thing.
It's a suit bag.
Yeah.
It's for suits.
Yeah, right. But it's a suit bag
Hanging
that
bag.
is a giant bag.
It is not a giant bag.
Raymond, it does not fit in any of those things that say your bag has to fit
That's
here.
because the shrinkage of the baggage compartments.
Okay.
They've gotten smaller
They
and
have.
smaller
People
and
have
smaller,
gotten
like
bigger.
the seats.
The people have gotten bigger. The overhead compartments have
I'm
gotten
not giving
smaller.
up my bag.
You aren't giving up that bag. No, but you should see him. You should see him. It's the same conversation. I swear it's the same lady you talk to every time in L.A. The bag is it's too big.
No, it's fine. It fits right in it fits right in the little thing over there.
No, it's too big.
No,
You
but
check
it's
the
fine.
bag. Check the bag.
No, let me show you. Look. Aha, look.
No,
See, it fits.
It doesn't. And Raymond
It
tries
fits.
to take
I'll
stuff
put it
out
in that
of it.
little, that stainless steel.
Oh, he'll break the frame of the
they
bag
have.
just to get it into that little. It has to fit in this thing
The box.
compartment. No.
It is just under. It's just enough to fit. And I see the look on their faces when I
They're
jam
annoyed.
it in. They're like,
Oh no. They're
well,
so
it's still
annoyed.
too big. I said, no, it's not.
I don't know
It's
why the
perfectly
LA
sized.
is
I'm
so
not giving
tough
up the
on
bag.
bags. No, he's not giving
Horrible
the bag up.
people.
Well, that's after I got my stuff
like
stolen
that.
out of my bag. Remember on the
Well,
Obama Diaries
let's
book
not
tour?
open up that sad
No, that
story.
was a bad.
No,
that
wait.
was
If it's a suit bag, why don't you just hang the suit up in the closet on the plane?
What closet? What, are you back in the
what are
1970s?
what are you talking about?
There is no
This is-
closet on the plane.
I
When's the
pass
last
a
time you traveled?
every time I'm in Southwest, there's a closet I pass right in the front.
No, they don't let
Wow,
you. do
rarely.
that.
That's only
a
for
bus
first
in
class.
the air. No, they don't.
No,
they-
Southwest. You're lucky to get a peanut on Southwest.
Well, look, I'm not saying it's the most luxurious flight in the
No,
world.
I,
but
at this point, I just buy an extra seat for one of the kids and let them hold the jacket. That's the only way to keep it from getting crushed in the overhead that's too small.
It is
and people are jamming
I have to
stuff
say
in.
this. I mean,
You're giving up that bag, she
We're
said.
off topic a little bit because this is Friday, so I'm going total stream of consciousness. But this is why radio's fun. It is unreal how small seats have gotten. Now, I'm not a large person, and I was so cramped on my flight. And the flight attendants were very nice. It was a U.S. Air flight. I had to go down to South Florida a couple weeks ago. I took the photo and I put it on Twitter. Mike, did you see it? Mm-hmm. And I was jammed in the seat. And I'm looking at these giant people coming down the aisle. I mean, they're giant men whose one thigh is bigger than my entire waist. Okay.
Once you've had fat, you never go back.
Exactly. They're not going back, and they're not fitting in these seats. And then they think that they can. I mean, and look, I sat next to two very thin people, and both of them commented on, "Oh my gosh, something's happened with these seats." And the chair is right in front. The seat in front of you, he basically hits your knees. I'm small. I look at these people lumbering down the aisles like brontosauruses. These people are huge.
Get in my belly!
And I'm thinking, how are you going to even get through the flight, let alone get your posterior into this tiny seat without oozing into the next person's seat? And I actually feel sorry for a lot of these people because I guess a lot of them don't fly regularly. They don't know that it's this cramped. And people are saying they can't put down the armrest. So some man makes a big point 2 or 3 rows behind me saying, flight attendant, the armrest won't go down. The flight attendant walks over. She says to him, excuse me? She's been around for a while. She's been around the block a few times. She said, excuse me, sir, your armrest won't go down? Is it mechanically broken? He said, no, look. And it was that he was too big. She took that thing and she slammed that thing down. That thing went down, but it meant that he had to be wedged into his seat. And he didn't like it, so he wanted to leave it up. Well, the poor gal next to him, she was trying to creep as far as she could over to the left side of her seat because now he was
spilling.
He was spilling into her seat. He was trespassing. Yes. It's plain trespassing into the other woman's seat, and she was mortified.
Gotta have borders.
If you want to eat a lot and get fat, you have a right to do it.
Oh, he's such a snob on. But do you guys find this though on planes now, where it is just it's
That's why I sit in the emergency row.
The idea, well, sometimes even those aren't.
There's no emergency row anymore. That's just a way to charge you more.
Yeah,
There's no more.
How about this? No.
That.
I had to make flights to go to San Francisco, okay? That's a 6-hour flight, okay? What is it when you spend a lot of money for a one-way ticket to San Francisco and buy 2 one-ways?
Everybody, you're floating back? How are you getting
No,
home?
I'm going to buy a separate thing. I haven't figured that out yet. I'll get the one-way.
Okay. You're still counting Maria as a lap child?
Yeah.
11? Ingram's got an interesting way of booking seats. Oh, I got you a seat. Oh, really? Well, you're my bag. Get in the bag. I'm like in the bag now.
She goes in your bag.
Nico pops his head out of the carry-on.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
She shoves. If you see a lady shoving peanuts into a bag, it's her.
Mama, where are the Legos?
Shut up.
Nothing suspicious going on
Mama,
here.
can I have some Cheerios? And Dima's in the other bag. Nico's in the
It's
carry-on.
like the Addams Family. Hands are coming out of
things.
Creepy.
So no, okay. So we're going over a 6-hour flight, right? And I'm gonna select my seats. What is it now? You can't reserve your seats. All seats are taken. You have to buy premium seats. Does this happen to you? There's no seats to buy, but you pay for the seat, but then you can't reserve the seat. So you have to pay for the premium seat, which is another $110 a seat. Multiply that times 4, because I'm buying for 4, 3 kids plus me. $460 in addition to the seats that you just purchased. What is that? That is a scam. Does anyone else think that's a scam, or am I complaining? You know what I'm talking about, Raymond? Why are you nodding? That does happen all the time to me.
Well, I know.
You can't buy seats on planes. You buy a seat, but then they say there are no seats to buy.
The cheap seats have already gone, so you have to buy the premium ones. It's like when you
but
go
the
to the
premium is a
theater,
joke. There is no premium
seat. The good
seat.
seats are gone, so the cheap seats are gone. So
But
you
it used
gotta
to
buy
be
the premiums down
coach.
front.
It used to be coach
Well.
and first class. Now they claim economy plus. You know what it is? Economy plus extra money.
Right.
There is
advantage.
no difference, really. An inch?
The people, there's not even an inch. The people right behind you have paid like $40 or $50 less than you. But you get a little thing on your pillow, which is embossed that says Economy Plus.
That's
the only thing you
feel
get.
better. I think Economy Plus is a racket. I think it's a huge racket.
Well,
and
so
it doesn't,
is baggage fees. So is all these
and they're making
extra
huge
things.
profits. And I know I know airlines. I want them to make a profit. I want them to do well. Do fine. Are any other people out there frustrated by not being able to buy a seat once you buy it? And you do all this research and like, this is the best fare, best time. You're so proud of yourself. Then you click, oh, I'm sorry, there are no seats available at this time. And then you look at blue, $110 for each seat. I find that to be just, and I know people are going to say, just stay home. Okay, thank you for that help. Just stay home. I just want to vent, and I want you to reflect back to me your frustration. Can we do that today on the show?
Yeah.
Is it just but Mike, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And then it's more expensive. 855-40-LAURA. And are you in favor of college students being able to carry on campus? 855-40-LAURA. As liberals are setting up fake gun stores to shame first-time gun buyers. To shame them. So this story is unbelievable, but they're clever. And these and anti-gun lobbying groups are very clever. So you think you're going in to buy a gun, but what you're going in to get is a lecture from an anti-Second Amendment person. And we'll talk about that. 855-40-LAURA. Are you frustrated with air travel? And am I exaggerating my claims that the seats are getting smaller, the people are getting bigger, and the hassle is just getting out of control? Don't go away. Stay tuned for more of this special edition of The Laura Ingraham Show.
Hi, this is Ben Domenech, the host of the Federalist Radio Hour. We're a daily show coming to you 5 days a week from Washington, D.C., where we interview our nation's top journalists, politicians, authors, chefs, economists, entertainers, and more. If you're looking for a contrarian discussion on news, politics, or culture, give us a listen and subscribe at podcastone.com, the new Podcast One app, or at Apple Podcasts.
You're listening to the best of the Laura Ingraham Show.
Airlines have been shrinking seats. So right now, a seat is a mere 17 inches wide, a little bit bigger than your Subway sandwich. And then the airline's logic behind it is if they shrink your seats and make them as small as possible, there's a higher likelihood, wait for it, there's a higher likelihood that you will pay for a bigger seat in the front of the plane.
Oh my God. Well, they get more
Subway sandwich.
There you have it.
They get
Subway
they
sandwich.
get more people on the plane too. Of course, they have more seats on the plane. I love how they're putting an extra seat where it used to be there were only 2 seats. Then they'll put an extra seat or an extra row of seats. They've squished in where the exit row used to be.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, I'm in the exit row. The exit row is going to be. It isn't.
No.
Because they put an extra row of seats where the where the exit row is. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
855-40 the number here. Are you doing NCAA brackets, and did you bust your bracket? We're going to talk to Jerry Palm of CBS Sports coming up. But before we get to that, we have 2 issues on the table. Carrying concealed. Do you believe that college students, properly trained, should have the right to carry concealed? In the University of Texas, the public education system there, of higher learning, of course, colleges, universities, like University of Texas, big vote yesterday. Yes, yes, yes. They will be able to carry concealed. All the anti-gun people are crazy about this. Of course they are. And also this question about airlines and making travel less and less bearable as they're making record profits. I mean, it's working for them, I guess. People are still doing it. Kelly in Indianapolis, line 2. Kelly, you're going to help me. There's a way to pick your seats, and I'm not doing it right. Go ahead.
Well, I travel several times a month, and I travel on my own expenses, so I'm very cheap. So I buy my seat, and then I do not pick a seat. I wait to be assigned a seat when I get to the airport. Sometimes I'm with my family, and sometimes I'm with my 82-year-old father, but every single time they have put us together, and I feel like we get the premium seats because no one's picking the higher dollar seats. And they have to give you a seat in the end somewhere.
Yeah, I think I would do that if it were just myself, but when I'm with 3 kids, I don't want Nico or Maria to be stuck back in row 26 and I'm in row 11 in the premium seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the problem when you're with 3
together.
children. And there's some people who won't put you together. I mean, it's happened to me where we sit apart, and then it's like you have to sit there while you beg people to switch with you. And yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. You just take your chances when you get to the airport. But when you have little ones, it's a little harder. You know, because then Dimitri and Nick and Maria start hitting each other, and they'll start like taking each other's toys, and then stuff goes flying. I mean, it's just a nightmare if I'm not right there. But I get your point. Let's go to Stephen in Fontana, California, on line 3. Steve, go ahead.
Hi, Laura. Hey, I just wanted to say yes. The answer is yes. They should be able to carry concealed if they're properly trained. Secondly, I like to say I personally do have a concealed weapon permit. I just recently got it. I went through the training. And you know what? To have the option to defend yourself is wonderful. It is absolutely a wonderful thing. It gives you more of a sense of freedom. The left, whenever there is a perceived danger, they always fail to recognize the danger. And as you mentioned earlier, they always say they're pro-choice, but they're not pro-choice when you want to defend the United States.
All right, it's your God-given right to defend yourself. Your God-given right. Lucky you're listening to a special Best of Laura Ingraham Show.
Bir sürprize hazırlanın. Yeni yıla girerken sevdiklerinizi yalnız bırakmayın. Yeni yılda Sun Express'te sevdiklerinize kavuşmak 39.99'dan başlıyor. Sun Express.
Just a few moments, we're going to be hearing more from the Bodines. Been playing in one form or another for about 3 decades. Unreal. Great talents, and of course, big fans here on the show. We've been playing their music for, well, since the beginning of our show in 2001. But I've seen the Bodines back in 1989, 1990 in Charlottesville, Virginia, when my old producer Lee Habib introduced me to the Bodines, and I've been fans ever since. So I'm looking forward to hearing them in studio. We'll have some live video of that up on our website and on Facebook, so make sure to hop onto our Facebook page. We'll have a tape after the live show. We'll put that up as well. Now, one of the defendants in this big case that just came up worked at a military hospital, ended up stealing personal information from soldiers. This is when you're really low. This is a low light. And many of these people had their identity stolen, were deployed to Afghanistan, and Alabama state agencies, employees at Walmart, Money Center was paid cash to get these refund checks. I mean, these stories of identity thievery, they just keep popping up day after day, week after week. People dumpster diving for shredded documents. They're reassembling shredded documents to get your information. Well, you know we're in bad shape when this is happening, and you know at that point you need to get ahead of the curve with our friends at LifeLock. And LifeLock.com, you go there and you'll see the best in all identity theft protection out there. It's called LifeLock Ultimate Plus. Now, no service can guard you against every instance of identity thieves, but LifeLock Ultimate Plus is the best out there, and they monitor your bank accounts, your equity in your own home, credit cards, and of course your good name, your identity. So do what I did. Get LifeLock Ultimate Plus. All you need to do is go to LifeLock.com. You get a 10% discount. Go to LifeLock.com, 10% discount when you use my name, Laura. Call them also at 800-495-8020. That's 800-495-8020. Well, I have to say that was probably one of my top 5 favorite songs, Don't Be Lonely, for so many years that I think now people in my car, when I used to have mixtapes, remember that? Oh gosh, mixtape. That was my old boyfriend in law school made a mixtape with Don't Be Lonely on it. Oh no, that was huge.
I love mixtapes.
I still have some of my mixtapes. I didn't, they still play. They still sound okay. And of course, the Bodines in studio with us. And people call them pioneers of adult alternative music, and I think it's roots rock. For me, it's rootsy, little bluesy, rootsy. And we got a lot of the boys in the studio here, and Kurt Newman, of course, lead vocals, guitar. Sam Hawksley and Eamon McLaughlin plays the fiddle. Sam plays the guitar. They're in the studio now. Their new studio album just out, I Can't Stop, just released. Wait, boys, good to see you. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be here. We're doing good.
And you were out at the Birchmere in Northern Virginia just a couple of days ago, and had sold out shows. People were raving about you online. I follow you on Facebook and all this craziness, and people are going crazy. And you're still standing. I mean, when did you start in this business, Kurt?
Well, we released our first record around 1986, but I think I probably started seriously trying to write songs and stuff more like around 1983. And, even as a kid, I was playing drums early on. It's just one of those things. I found a place that felt good in music since I was a kid, and I just kind of stayed there.
Were your parents into music? I mean, no, not at all.
Not at all. I've looked all over in my family and roots for some kind of musical connection, and I haven't found anyone. So I don't know. I don't know why.
They play music at home? Anything?
Well, nothing serious. It's not like my dad was a big Elvis fan. I think he liked Frank Sinatra. And so,
see? Okay, well, if Raymond just left, but Raymond would have been thrilled to hear that. So that clearly, Sinatra obviously is all imbuing all of your music.
Right. And one time he yelled at me for not listening to Tony Bennett. So
well, those are you go for the classics, and and your band is different. Obviously, when I first was introduced to you, it was a different you're a different partner. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, like any business you're in for 30 years or 3 decades, you go through changes and people come and go, and that's certainly happened since even after our first record. Our first drummer left, and I felt like that was a big deal.
So Sam Giannis, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Giannis, he leaves, and you get to keep the name the Bodines. I'm a lawyer too, so I'm always interested in that. How did that work out?
Well, I just wanted to keep going. When someone else quits, because they want to do something else, it doesn't mean, I guess, that you should throw away what you're doing. And so in my heart, I just wanted to keep playing this music. I wanted to keep this business going that I've worked on for so many years. And so that's what I chose to do. And I thought, you know what, I'll just try it. And I basically said that to the fans, I'm going to keep going. And if you guys like it, great. If you don't, I'll understand that too. But so far, for the last 4 years now, it's going on 4 years.
Unbelievable.
It's been great. And the fans have really embraced it and thanked me for keeping it going because, a lot of people have a lot of connections to these songs. And for them, it's great to come out and sing with us.
And people do sing
They
in
do.
the audience with you. Now,
They do.
Some of us like when the audience sings, and some of us prefer to let you sing.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
is, people feel like your family. You've been in their
Yeah.
cars and their headphones in their lives for decades, and these
Yeah.
songs
And
mean
I-
something to them.
I think, the audience participation is really important in music when you come out for live music. That's really what it's about is that experience of everybody kind of uniting for a couple hours and singing together, feeling good.
What are you going to play for us first?
We thought we'd play a positive song about good things. It was released in the 90s, and this song goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The sunlight fall down on the field. The sunlight fall down over me. Work all day and be all that I can be. Yeah, yeah. Say I can say words only simple. Say I can say words only clear. And oh, I can feel your heart is beating near. Yeah, yeah. And haunting love is all that I feel when you're passing by. And haunting love is all that I see. It's there in your eyes. And we say no, 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 don't pass me over. No, 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 don't pass me by. See, I can see good things for you and I. Good things for you. And give, I can give love and attention. And give, I can give all time away. Only to one heart I can give today. And be, I can be man full of color. And be, I can be man black or white. Only to one heart I can be tonight. Yeah, yeah. And haunting love is all that I feel when you're passing by. And haunting love is all that I see. It's there in your eyes. Yeah, we say no, 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 don't pass me over. No, 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 don't pass me by. See, I can see good things for you and I. Yeah, good things for you, yeah. And haunting love is all that I feel. It's there in your eyes. And we say no, 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 don't pass me over. No, 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 don't pass me by. You see, I can see good things for you and I. Yeah, good things for you. No, 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 don't pass me over. No, 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 don't pass me by. See, I can see good things for you and I. Good things for you and I.
just for you, yeah.
You're listening to the best of the Laura Ingraham Show.
Back on the Laura Ingraham Show, 855-40-LAURA. A lot of Bodines fans in our listening audience. We're talking to Kurt Newman, as the lead vocalist and guitarist for the Bodines. I saw your Yahoo concert that you did online. That was cool. They're doing a lot of really good things online on Yahoo.
That was a blast, yeah.
And you sounded great. And, of course, I didn't know your wife was now managing the band, or how long that's been going on. How's that work out?
It's tough. She reluctantly manages the band, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I asked her to do it when we fell out with our old manager, and thinking it would be a temporary thing. And
5 years later.
She's very smart, so she was good at it, but it's hard to have a marriage and a business manager combined. You know, it's really hard to separate the two, because when anytime you're like a family business like that, it's just always there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we take it a day at a time, and you do the best you can each day with it, really.
Casey Chambers, our old friend from Australia, she does that. Her husband tours with her and her father, and oh my God, it's like a traveling family show.
Well, my kids love it. They wake up and say, I need to get some room service, you know, and they want to go out and stay in a hotel, because most of them have been on the road with me since they were 3 months old, you know.
What do you listen to yourself?
I don't listen to like pop and rock when I'm at home. I listen to a lot of different music, you know, whether it's classical or great old jazz music, Stan Getz, you know, things like that, just, my mind doesn't analyze it, you know, it just is there and it feels good. But then my kids play a bunch of stuff, and I'll listen to that too, because I look for good songwriting in all different music, you know.
So I just don't see like Eamon and you and Sam kind of sitting down and like just, you know, rocking out to Kanye or anything. I just don't see that.
No, we're not. I'm not a rap guy at all. That's the one thing I can't do. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong.
There's
people
nothing
like
wrong
it,
with
but
that.
I can't take it. Even when my one daughter really likes it, so she'll put it on, and I'll be like, I can't hear this. I can't.
Okay, what are we gonna hear now? This is from the new album, I Can't Stop. What are we gonna hear?
There's a song. It's called "Roll with the Punches." I find the key to happiness is just rolling with the punches each day.
Keep moving. That's what I do. I'm a single mom with 3 kids. That's all I can do every day. Roll with the punches.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was lost in the haze of yesterday, a life at 21. Eternity, wild and free, and crazy deeds were done. Staying out until the dawn, make believe we could do no wrong. I shake my head at those memories, cause they feel so far away. But I don't mind, man, it's alright, cause yesterday is gone. I feel so much stronger. I'm blue collar boy busting out at 21. I just roll with everything real, yeah, I know. I just roll with the punches, and baby, don't you know, we got to roll with everything real, yeah, I know. Just roll with the punches, and baby, don't let go. Time we did the best we could, making noise with broken toys when everything changed, yeah. And here and now I understand, I should have known better than to trust you, man. I shut down when I heard the news, my baby got the blues. But I don't mind, man, it's alright, cause yesterday is gone. I feel so much stronger. A blue collar boy busting out at 21. I just roll with everything real, yeah, I know. I just roll with the punches, and don't you know? We got to roll, roll, roll with everything real, yeah, I know. We just roll with the punches, and baby, don't let go. A blue-collar boy busting out at 21, yeah. You got to roll, roll, roll with everything real. It just roll with the punches, and baby, don't let go.
This has been the Best of the Laura Ingraham Show.
You are listening to a special best of edition of the Laura Ingraham Show. Why settle for less when you can get the best?
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Power to the people!
The Laura Ingraham Show.
It's Christmas time all over the world, and Christmas here at home.
The United States will remember this day in which it was singled out for attack in the General Assembly for the very act of exercising our right as a sovereign nation. We will remember it when we are called upon to once again make the world's largest contribution to the United Nations. And we will remember it when so many countries come calling on us, as they so often do, to pay even more and to use our influence for their benefit.
Oh, I like Nikki Haley today. I'm really, really, really liking her today. This is great. First off, we pay 22% of the entire cost of that monstrosity in New York City, in Manhattan. I joked with John Bolton last night on the Ingraham Angle that we should just drop that thing into Germany. Let's take the UN out of New York, send it over there to Germany. Merkel seems to have endless amounts of money. She's letting in 1 million refugees. They must be rolling in the dough. Let them handle it. Nikki Haley today, before the General Assembly rebuke of the United States on its decision to move our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, that which every president in my memory had promised to do and didn't do. Trump does it. And what do you mean you're doing it? How dare you? Well, Obama, your hero Obama said he was going to do it, and your hero Clinton said he was going to do it. They didn't do it. Trump's doing it. Nikki Haley continued.
America will put our embassy in Jerusalem. That is what the American people want us to do. And it is the right thing to do. No vote in the United Nations will make any difference on that. But this vote will make a difference on how Americans look at the UN and on how we look at countries who disrespect us in the UN. And this vote will be remembered. Thank you.
Ooh. Thank you. Saudi Arabia, Egypt.
Merry Christmas.
France. Well,
we're going to be saying Merry Christmas again many times. Merry.
In other words, he's making a list, checking it twice.
He is.
Naughty and nice.
Well, you heard what he said yesterday. We'll be watching this vote very closely. And what the hell? We'll save money.
Nikki, I want you to go in there. I don't want any Colin Powell equivocation. I don't want it. This is your moment. Don't blow it. No pressure. No pressure. Don't blow. You know he called her up and
said,
we're
paying the cost to be the boss. Just tell him that. Who said that? Who said that?
22%. The only thing I disagree with Nikki Haley on is when she said Americans will begin to view the UN differently. Americans can't stand the UN. It's a big waste of money. I mean, we should not be spending our hard-earned money on the blue helmets. This should be equally distributed around the world. Why? China's rolling in the dough. Why doesn't China pay more?
Remember, Trump wanted to, in his previous incarnation as a real estate mogul, he wanted to buy the UN property and develop it. That's great East New York real estate with riverfront views. He wanted to knock that sucker down and redevelop it. This is back in like the 80s. he wanted it and made a play for it. But you got to shut it down first. So maybe that's what this is.
You know what we should do? We should put the UN in like Omaha. Make those people come to the heartland of America, really learn about what America's all about. Hey, move it to Kansas, Wichita. The UN in Wichita, wouldn't that be hilarious? You know, all these people showing up with their demands. They have to go to the Cracker Barrel. Yeah, they go to the Cracker Barrel and the Friendlies. That's what they should do.
Okay, we have a lot to get to in the hour.
855-40 Laura.
The year-end soundbite contest.
Let's start playing those sound bites, okay? Because otherwise we're not going to get through it. And then we have the real versus fake.
The epic real versus fake Christmas tree debate. And I want your calls. 855-40 Laura. Do you have a real or fake tree? And who do you agree with? Okay. We're not going to tell you yet who's siding with which position. But I'm going to tell you, you've been making fun of my sneezes and cold now for 2 days.
And I feel like I'm getting sick again. I got better. Now I feel like I'm getting sick again.
I know, but you know what could be making you sick?
Around
could be your tree. Your tree could be the source of your illness. It's like a silo of illness. Listen to you. It's pumping all those allergens into the air.
Well,
wait till I tell you these new studies. Frightening.
Had I actually been home long enough to enjoy the tree, that perhaps could be the case, Mr. Arroyo. However, I have not been home to enjoy the tree enough.
After 2 weeks, when I tell you, all of you, what your Christmas tree begins to do at 2 weeks in your home, you're going to want to throw that crap out right now before Christmas.
By the way, I was working in my bedroom, and I was propped up on my bed. I was on the computer, and this is a couple days ago, and Maria came in. We were talking about something, and I felt something in the right side of my hair.
Yeah.
That was one of the stink bugs in my hair.
No.
Well, you know how deathly afraid of bugs I am? I screamed. Like,
oh no!
I'm like, how did that get? Maybe that was from the tree.
From your tree.
The stink bug.
They carry bug. Wait,
okay.
I have new research that I've never seen.
Research.
We've done this debate
for
many
10 years.
I have brand new findings that are going to convince you.
Raymond's been out and about trying to gather information.
I am the Margaret Mead of fake trees. I'm telling you, I'm going to convince you.
Okay.
Those real trees are dangerous to your health.
All right.
Fire has it is
855-40 Laura. Real versus fake. What do you have and why? All right. Well, we're going to start the soundbite of the year contest though at the same time. So we're going to do multiple things at one time. But I love Nikki Haley today at the UN. We pay you carry the load for these people for years, and what do you get? Kicked in the teeth.
Well, this is a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, Trump's presidency is a Christmas miracle. Okay, soundbite number one. Let's start at the beginning of the year. Okay, this was the Women's March the day after the inauguration. Okay, the day after the inauguration, where just hundreds of thousands of well-dressed and well-spoken women showed up, and it was a diversity of thought. I mean, this was really just representative of the female landscape to offer their sane and sober analysis of what a Trump presidency would be like.
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I am a nasty woman. I'm not as nasty as a man who looks like he bathes in Cheeto dust.
Oh my God. Those two. That was Madonna and Ashley Judd.
Naomi Judd sent me a nice package the other day of stuff for the kids and for Christmas. Yeah, Naomi Judd did, and she sent me that Tough Enough, that song that Stevie Ray Vaughan song that Winona recorded, did the cover of. I think it was she didn't write it. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan wrote it. Mm-hmm. And she sent me a nice note. She's a sweet woman, the mother of Ashley Judd.
She is.
But Ashley Judd's just awesome. And Naomi Judd could not be more conservative. She's good friends with Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. She's a lovely person. But that Ashley's just off the reservation. She got wrapped up with the Weinstein controversy too. I mean, it's a mess.
That was a big year for her.
Big year.
She was headlining the Women's March, and then headlining the Me Too movement.
Yeah, the Me Too. So she bookended the year for Ashley Judd.
That's right. Big
I've got to say, when I started listening to the Ashley Judd soundbite all over again, I began to agree with her. when she started saying, I am a nasty woman. Okay, yeah. Finally, we agree on something. All right, that's soundbite number 1. Soundbite number 2, Donald Trump with, what's Acosta's first name of CNN?
Jim Acosta.
Is it Jim? I don't even know his name. Is that his name, Jim Acosta of CNN? Let's listen.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
since you are attacking
No,
our news
not you.
organization,
Not
can
you.
you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us a
is
chance
terrible.
to
Let's
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No,
give
I'm
us
not
a
gonna give you
question?
I'm not going to give you a
can
question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
James, is that 2017 or Mr. President-elect?
January, early January.
It was right before,
Right
the
before
inauguration.
the inauguration, I see.
Mhm.
'Cause
You're fake news.
He's had so many dust-ups.
You're fake news.
Fake news.
No.
I love his aside.
Get him the hell out of
Get him the
here.
hell out of No, he was...
I was waiting for him to call the Secret Service. Get him the hell out of here.
No, that was Do we have
funny.
Sean Spicer on the crowd size? Can we do that? That was a fun one too. All right, because we have to go in some type of chronological order. We're jumping around in chronology. We should go
That's
chronologically through the year. All right, this is Sean Spicer on the
Inauguration day.
on the inauguration day. Let's go.
First press
Yeah,
conference.
first one. Go.
Inaccurate numbers involving crowd size were also tweeted. No one had numbers because the National Park Service, which controls the National Mall, does not put any out. This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
Oh, no. That's when he picked up the lectern and threw it into the... That started a very positive relationship with the press. Poor Sean.
First impressions.
No, that didn't. Then it got more negative the day after. Remember the day after it continued.
Oh, but remember, when he walked up to that podium,
Angry.
his veins were bursting in his neck. Let me tell you
Get
all
out there,
something.
Sean, and tell him that. Look at the crowds. Remember they kept tweeting out the photos of the empty back area of the... It was just because they had that white stuff on the ground.
They had that white
tarp. Or
yeah,
whatever
that
was.
tarp trying to replant the grass or whatever.
And then what's the next one, James?
The next one is Nancy Pelosi having a little bit of sound difficulties.
This was in the
with
summer,
microphone.
correct? Was this in the summer or the early fall when they were? They were doing a press conference on what? Do we remember?
Yeah, this was regarding the Trump travel ban, if I'm not mistaken, trying to gather together and rally and sing Kumbaya.
Oh, okay, the travel ban. Okay, this is Nancy Pelosi trying to get her mojo back.
I can hear you. Can you hear us? It's not on? Is somebody going to deal with this? Crack staff? Can't hear? Can you hear now? No, that doesn't do any good. Does this work better? No. Staff? Sound people?
Sound people.
Sound people?
Oh, no. But the best thing is that this went on for about... I think this went on for like 3 minutes. She kept
Hello,
going,
can you hear me?
No, I can't. Crack staff.
Crack staff. I need some. This isn't helping. It's the asides that I love from Nancy
Crack
Pelosi. This isn't helping.
No.
Like she's talking to her, I don't know.
No one.
Her little Jiminy
Okay,
Cricket on her
so we
shoulder.
have... Go through the list first, James, because I can't remember.
Women's March.
Yep, we have Women's March with Madonna and Ashley Judd.
Trump and Acosta,
Trump and
number
Acosta,
2.
fake news, which
Right.
is hilarious.
Spicer, number 3.
Correct.
Nancy Pelosi's sound difficulties.
Correct.
Number 4.
Okay, so that's number 4. What's number 5?
Number 5 is Donald Trump passing the biggest tax cut ever, celebrating in front of the White House.
All right.
An amazing experience, I have to tell you. Hasn't been done in 34 years, but actually really hasn't been done because we broke every record. It's the largest, I always say the most massive, but it's the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And reform, but tax cut. Really something special.
I don't think that's a great soundbite. I mean, it's okay, but I don't think that's not the best. No. That's a weak one, James. That's not the best. But it's true. It's historic. It's not the largest tax cut, though. The Reagan tax cuts were bigger than that in 1983. Craig Shirley's going to kill me if I get it wrong. But I think it was 83, 82. So the Reagans were bigger. But nevertheless, it was a historic moment. Historic moment, not a great soundbite, though. I think this I think the going to the NATO and saying, we love you, but we're not doing this. I think his statement to China and it's not China and Russia that they're not our partners. I think we've had a lot of people in this administration who have stepped up to do a phenomenal job. I think General Kelly, where he talked about history in my interview with him, I think that will go down as one of the great moments of this year for him. When in John Kelly at the White House briefing room, when he talked about military service, James, get that one, how no one in that press room understood. A lot of people didn't understand what it's like to bury a loved one or fight side by side with a unit mate overseas, and that we don't appreciate the military perhaps enough. To me, that was another great moment. 855-40-LAURA, Soundbite of the Year contest. You've heard our entry so far. You can choose one of them. Again, it was Trump, Acosta, Spicer crowd size. We got the nasties at the Women's March. General Kelly, James will get us on military sacrifice and service, and a lot more. 855-40-LAURA, do you have a real or fake Christmas tree, and why? And is there a preference that one preference that really leapfrogs the other, and for what reason? I've always had real trees. Don't go away. Stay tuned for more of this special edition of The Laura Ingraham Show.
I'm the happiest Christmas tree. Oh, ho, ho, he, he. Someone came and they found me and took me home with them. Oh, I'm the happiest.
Back on The Laura Ingraham Show, 855-40-LAURA. Soundbite contest, real versus fake debate. It's the end of the year, last show of the year. Hard to believe it. It's been a phenomenal year for this show and for the country.
And for you.
And for Raymond. And I hope all of you have had a good year. Every year brings its share of triumphs and pitfalls and joys and setbacks. And we all have that in our lives. I mean, you count the blessings that you have and try to keep looking forward. I try not to look back too much. I mean, it doesn't really get anywhere to look back. Got to look forward.
Yep.
Back is over. Forward is tomorrow, and the present is, is what we have right now. So enjoy the moments with your family this holiday and Christmas, and remember what Christmas is all about. Don't get yourself all stressed out about gifts or any of that, and just try to enjoy the time you have.
I just pray everyone is going to be celebrating around a fake tree this year.
Okay, here we go.
And here's why.
All right, here we go.
My investigation of the last week.
Dimitri, water my tree, please.
Real trees have pesticides. They have a huge fire danger, as apparently one of our callers will alert us to. And there's something called Christmas tree syndrome, where spores and mold grow on your trees. Now, this is the new stuff. Annals of Allergy, they just reported this. After 2 weeks, the number of airborne mold spores increase in your tree from 800 units per 35 cubic feet to 5,000 units. So the mold spores are moving through the air, and that makes people sick. Allergies go up. They are mildly toxic, real trees are, to pets. The fir oil in fir trees cause mouth as well as stomach inflammation, and God forbid.
Maybe that's why my stomach's been burning.
You swallowed a shat. You may have swallowed a real tree shat. Well, the shats, the needles,
family show.
Needles on the trees, the shats, can puncture pets' stomach lining and can maybe send stink bugs into your hair. I haven't even.
Lucky you, you're listening to a special Best of Laura Ingraham Show.
Coming soon to Podcast One, Red Circle Sports with Dennis Miller. Get your weekend sports roundup every Tuesday exclusively from Podcast One and comedian Dennis Miller. He's going through and circling the most exciting headlines so you don't have to, and bringing you a lot of laughs along with them. Be sure to download new episodes of Red Circle Sports with Dennis Miller every Tuesday on the Podcast One app, Apple Podcasts, or at podcastone.com.
Christmas is a-comin' and the bells begin to ring. The holly's in the window and the birds begin to sing. Now don't take time to worry and don't take time to fret. And the more you give at Christmas time, the more
I like this.
you
Who's this?
get.
Bing.
How do I even not know that? That's disturbing.
It sounds like Bing, and I don't know who else is there.
Bing in a crowd.
Bing and Family. He did all those Christmas specials. He'd drag out all the kids. Here's Catherine bringing out my boys. Come over here, boys.
Yeah, and they would, they would always appear. It was always those cardboard sets.
Right.
And they'd be sitting on higher and higher platforms. So there'd be someone here, there'd be a step up to another platform. It's like the Osmonds Christmas.
Right.
It was. I think they filmed them in the same studio. They were all so chintzy. They would throw some. All right.
There was something sweet about it.
Okay, we have to add one more soundbite to our end of the year soundbite contest.
Do?
Yes, one more soundbite. This is General John Kelly when he walked into the briefing room to address the press.
Who are these young men and women? They are the best 1% this country produces. Most of you, as Americans, don't know them. Many of you don't know anyone who knows any one of them. But they are the very best this country produces. And they volunteer to protect our country when there's nothing in our country anymore that seems to suggest that selfless service to the nation is not only appropriate but required.
855-40-LAURA. Trump taking down Acosta of CNN is fake news. General Kelly, the Women's March. Spicer, Nancy Pelosi losing her way without an audio system. Those are some of the sound bites of the year. You pick one. 855-40-LAURA.
We should go to the phones.
All right, let's go to the phones. Real versus fake Christmas tree and the soundbite contest. Raymond claims that real trees hold allergens and bugs
and they
snakes.
harbor insects, rodents, mites, and you see in the cool weather they stay in the tree. When you take them into your living room and it's warm, they emerge.
Okay.
And we've had callers of tarantulas coming out, snakes coming out of the tree. It's scary. That thing, the very idea that you have a dead thing in the middle of your living room for weeks, Ingram, is
What if
sad.
you have it in a pot and it's alive? Maybe I should get one of those
Right.
live.
Yeah, but those things are like $800.
Yeah, those are really expensive.
Yeah, so you're going to put a full-size fur in a pot? Good luck.
That would be hard.
Just get a fake tree.
I have to say, this year, my tree did not hold up like previous trees.
I saw that tree. It's sad.
No, it's not a sad
It's brown,
tree.
and
It's
the little
not
needles,
brown.
the shats are all over. It's a carpet of shats, a
Yeah,
rug
it
of
is.
shats all
It
around
is.
the
There
tree.
Are, it's
sad.
more than I had remembered the last time I had a real tree.
Yeah.
And
That's because your dogs aren't eating them as frequently now because they're so sick.
No. Well, I do like the smell, but the smell didn't seem to last as long as it did
Rebecca
before.
lights those pine candles around the house. My house
Just
smells
light
like
those.
pine all year. She lights that crap all year long. So you don't need a tree to do it. The fake smell is just as good.
All right, 855-40-LAURA.
And you don't have to water it. You don't have to cut it. You
I
don't
got to
have
say,
to drag
Dimitri
it.
has to turn into a pretzel to get that.
No.
It's a tea kettle to water
And
that
his face
tree.
is all scarred up trying
He
to
did.
get to it.
He had a bruise on the side of his face. I said, "What happened, Dimitri?" He said, "Mama, it happened when I was watering that tree." I don't know. He hit his face going. I don't know how he possibly did that, but 855-40-LAURA. Eric. Oh no.
TJ in Delaware.
TJ in Delaware. TJ, go ahead, my friend. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. I've had real trees since I was a little guy, and I refused to get a fake tree. And I'm a firefighter. I've been a firefighter back here in Delaware for years, volunteer. Number of Christmas tree fires every year. Didn't bother me at all. And a few years ago, my poor wife has allergies. She would suffer through it because, the kids love the real tree and all that. Up till about 3 years ago, alumni family of mine from Severn over in Maryland, the grandmother, the grandfather, and 4 kids were burned to death.
Ooh.
The house burned
Oh,
down.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that
Yeah,
story.
because of the Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's just not worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, how did it happen though? Was it next to a heater, or it just combusted by itself with no?
Well, there's a dump. They get dry, and you think by watering them in the bottom of the base, they're going to be great. You could have a little spark and set the whole thing off. It's absolutely amazing. If you ever watch, just go on YouTube and do
No
Christmas tree
thanks.
fires.
Now this is going to terrify me. This whole. Okay.
The National Institute of
Now
Standards.
you've made me scared.
He's right. National Institutes of Standards and Technology says it takes 5 seconds for a tree to be engulfed in flames. A Christmas tree. 5 seconds. I'm telling you.
Well, how did our country survive? We've had trees, real trees, for 200
Do you
years.
know, again,
200 years
my
we've had trees.
expert research has discovered
Oh,
in the
please.
1800s,
Negative.
because
they had
of...
real candles on the trees back then. My mother was a little girl. They had real candles on the trees.
Right. Well,
Real candles.
Well, but in the 1800s, they were worried about deforestation. They created feather trees because they
Well,
were
not a bad
worried about
idea.
cutting them down. So fig trees do have a tradition in America. They were traditional.
Well,
in our
maybe,
own way.
I am going to open up my mind to a fake tree I'll have one
It's
fake
taken
tree.
me 10 years. I've converted.
I'm going to have one fake tree that are any made in the United States or all made in China?
No, there are a couple of, there are only one or two, but there are one or two fake
Look that
tree.
up. I don't believe you.
All right.
I don't
I'll
believe
find
there's
them
any
for you.
made in the United States anymore.
All right.
Look it up. I don't want to have any Chinese tree in my house. I'm not. I look at stuff made in China, and if I can, I throw it away.
All right, let's go to Greg in Maine.
Okay, Greg, go ahead. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Love the show, but Raymond, you need to stop with the fake news about the real Christmas trees. They're better for the environment than fake ones.
Well, you know what? That's what they say, Greg. But again, my research has turned up something.
Greg, you're right.
Because if you keep a fake tree for 4 to 5 years, it has a smaller carbon footprint than a real tree because of the diesel and the transport and everything involved
and the chainsaw.
with getting it down the
Chainsaws
hill
are
and to
pollutants.
you. So between the fire hazards, the shats, the insects
elderly,
and the rodents, I
the
don't
elderly,
see it.
as you get older, the idea of hauling a tree in the house. I mean,
Ridiculous.
elderly people tend to have the fake trees. They can pull them out of the box and put them out. They look great.
Right.
Do you actually? Let me tell you what I really dislike about the trees is having to take the ornaments off. Taking the ornaments off.
So what do you want to throw the ornaments out with the tree?
Well,
Is that what you do?
I don't know. I hate taking the ornaments off. That is one of the most depressing
It is depressing.
tasks.
Well, see,
And then
New-
you think Christmas is going to be another year away.
But in New
It's
Orleans,
depressing.
what we do is, and this is a
You
little
keep the
note for
tree up
everybody,
through-
you take those ornaments down and you put your Mardi Gras ornaments up, because Mardi Gras season starts on the 12th night, on the night of the Epiphany, January 6th. So just as Christmas ends, you start Mardi Gras and you leave it up for another month. So and it's all purple and gold and
I
green.
have white Christmas lights outside of my drive into my house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of at least leaving those up all whole year. Why do you even take them down? I'll be one of
Leave
those
them.
people who leaves them up. I
I
like
like
the
that.
lights on the trees.
I do too.
The white lights on the trees. Are they a fire hazard? Those little lights? They aren't, are they?
On your inside they are, not outside, no.
Well, I didn't like some of my landscaping anyway. Let's take it all down. 855-40-LAURA. All right. Soundbite of the year. We got John Kelly schooling the press on military service. We have Sean Spicer on the crowd size, period. We have Jim Acosta getting taken down by Donald Trump. We have sound people. Oh, it's not working. Okay, that's crack staff. We have Nancy Pelosi. We have the Women's March harpies with their comments about blowing up the White House. What? Well, how did Madonna go from where was she from? Brooklyn to having a British accent.
Yeah, I
From
don't
Brooklyn
know.
to British.
She lived over there.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Johnny Depp. He
Oh,
also,
come on.
he's always now talking this way, and I don't know where
please.
he got
You
that.
never left the Pirates of the Caribbean. That ride at Disney, going in the boat at Disney, the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's a pretty good ride.
It's a fun
It's
ride.
amazing. I mean, it
Yep.
actually looks really good. They did a great job of that.
Bill in Nevada on the soundbite contest.
Bill, go ahead, my friend.
Merry Christmas to all you guys, and
Merry
thanks for
Christmas.
what you do. I think any serious patriotic American has to go with General Kelly in a landslide. Although I would like to nominate Nikki Haley at the beginning of the year when she told our allies at the UN that we'll be taking names if you don't back us.
At the end of the year, she just said, you mean her speech that she just made at the UN? I agree with you. That's the best I've ever heard, Nikki Haley.
For those that don't have our back, we're taking names. We will make points to respond to that accordingly. But this is a time of strength.
This is a time of strength for the United States. We're making our own calls. I love Trump over at the United Nations. Overseas, that was another. See, we could have the whole soundbite contest just be Trump. I love all you guys, but it's time for you all to pay your fair share. He says it right to their faces. Macron, who's maybe 5'2", became 4'7" after that speech. That was great. Merkel was so upset. She skipped her bratwurst that day. She didn't have the extra bratwurst. She went on a fast. She only had 3 bratwurst at lunch.
By the way, just so you know, there is a company, Crystal Valley in Oregon. They
Yep.
make artificial Christmas trees
Okay.
in the United States.
Well, maybe I'll.
So they're not all Chinese, though a lot of them at Target and other places are.
Well, I'm just not. I personally don't like taking down the ornaments. That is depressing.
I know, but whether you have a real or a fake tree, you still have to take down the
Can't you
ornaments.
just leave the ornaments up every year?
Oh, yeah,
the
leave
same?
all your
Dangling?
memories up. Oh, you're talking about just bagging the tree like my grandmother used to and push it in the closet. That's what she did. She put a big, like, hefty bag over it, push it, roll it into the closet, and the next year, oh,
Sounds
look, my
good to me.
Christmas tree's up.
So, I mean, right now, with the little time I have.
If you're retired and you have an extra room, why not?
Put it
I'd
in
leave
there.
it up. That's what I'd do. But taking it apart and boxing it and
no.
putting it up,
and then
that's a pain.
then you have to buy the ornament bags for the ornament. Oh no, it's a
The
big
boxes,
scam.
the divider boxes.
The divider boxes. It's a big scam. That Container Store. Talk about made in China.
All
Every item in the Container Store is made in China. I think every item. It's like
Probably.
Target. Every item in Target. Not every item, but most every item is made in China.
Yep.
I hope that starts to change with this new trade policy. I hope it starts to change with the new tax policy. 855-40-LAURA, real versus fake. And I'm gonna say that General Kelly wins. General Kelly and Donald Trump are tied for the soundbite of the
And
year.
I'm going to say, after a decade, you're finally a believer in artificial trees. It took 10 years of shats and sick dogs, but now you're a believer. I like that.
I'm 20%.
The Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
Oh, very fun. I'm having some people over tomorrow night to screen the big Darkest Hour film. I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to have a fun time and a little merriment in the Ingraham household with a movie screening. Let's go to Dorothy in Indiana. Miss Dorothy, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Laura. Love your show.
Thanks so much.
I just wanted to share a vote for the artificial trees. We had friends years ago that brought in a frozen tree, put it in the stand, let it thaw in their living room, and the next morning they woke up, there's this dark shadow on the floor under the tree, and not only did the tree thaw, but they literally hatched thousands of spiders. So,
oh my God!
Okay,
A moving shadow.
Oh, no, that is... Okay, Dorothy, now I'm going to have nightmares. You know I'm afraid of bugs. That is terrifying. Have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's go to Pat in Kansas. Pat, welcome. Pat's drought. Let's go to John in Florida. Johnny, well, Merry Christmas.
John?
John's not there?
Hello.
Okay, John, go ahead, my
John
friend.
is here.
Go ahead.
Hi, my friend Marty had the best idea for the artificial Christmas tree. He had an old school film projector, a screen that you used to use like back in school in the old days.
Yeah.
And he could roll this thing down, and he had a Christmas tree painted on it, and he had ornaments painted on it, and he could roll it down, hanging from the wall, put the Christmas presents in front of it. And when he was done, he would roll the thing back up, and he'd put it right back in the attic, and he's done. He could decorate it in 5 minutes.
A hologram. Christmas tree holograms.
Hologram.
This is the business we need to go into,
Wow.
Ingram.
That actually
No
could-
muss, no fuss.
No fuss, just a projection.
Right.
How about virtual reality? Everyone just slaps on a headset and you can experience Christmas with none of the cleanup.
But wouldn't that be great if you could put a projector on the ceiling, project it down, kind of like that star-spangled thing they put on the front of people's houses, but to have
Oh,
the Christmas
yeah.
tree in the middle of your house.
That's
It would
actually-
look like a tree.
That's a great idea. Let's go to Valerie in California. Valerie.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
I have 12 artificial Christmas trees. I put them up the day after Thanksgiving.
That a
I
girl.
do them so they don't die before Christmas. A week before we get our real one, which goes in our kitchen.
So 12. You must have a nice size home. That's quite ambitious. I could barely do one tree. These people have 5 trees. That's incredible. Even the fake are real. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of. We got to have a lot of space for that. It's pretty though. It's
Well, the
pretty.
nice thing about a fake tree is you know how big it is. So
Yeah.
you can, it's not. Now this year I bought a new fake tree after 12 years. It took 3 buys to find one that would actually fit in the den. There was one that was just too big, so then the other one was too small, then the other one was too high, so I finally found one.
Tonight, the Ingraham Angle, we have a great show on tap. We're going to be hitting a couple of the things that we didn't have a chance to talk about today. In Memphis, there's a big story brewing that involves erasing American history. We'll talk about that. We'll have our own conversation about the cultural highlights and lowlights of the year.
And everybody have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. I'll see you back here.
This has been the Best of the Laura Ingraham Show.
Thanks for listening to the Laura Ingraham Show podcast. Download new episodes every week at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.
Podcast One has new shows on our new app. Check out all the cool features to help you explore our exciting new programming, like America's Lakers podcast with Jay Moore, So Random with Corinne Olympios, Attack Each Day, The Harbaugh's podcast, Not Just Sports with Susie Schuster and Rich Eisen, and Sessions with Randy Jackson, as well as your old favorites like The Lady Gang, Steve Austin, Shaquille O'Neal, and Adam Carolla. Get the new Podcast One app in the App Store, Google Play, or podcastone.com.